Hello dear participants, I welcome you all again here in this certificate course. In the previous two lectures, we tried to understand that how can we perform one sample t-test and independent samples t-test on our data, and also we tried to understand that how can we read and interpret the results out of these hypothesis test. In today's session, we'll be dealing with the dependent samples paired t-test. So let me welcome you all again here in this lecture number 29 with the title Dependent Samples Paired T-Test. Objectives of lecture number 29 are as follows. The first objective is to make you familiar with the procedure of hypothesis testing for dependent samples paired t-test using MS Excel and SPSS. Once we perform this test on our data, we'll get the result, and then we'll try to understand that how can we read and interpret that result. So let me start this lecture with the discussion on the prerequisites of this test. See, the dependent sample t-test, it tries to find significant difference in the particular variable in two different time phases. And what is the prerequisite for this test? The prerequisite is that we need to have two observations on the same variable but at two different time periods. So here one can make the observation on the same sample at two different time phases. It means the samples are same, but we are collecting the information at two different time phases. To understand this in a better way, let me take you all to one example. So here is a corporate training institution which claims that its training program can greatly enhance the efficiency of call center employees. So the data of number of deals handled by the 12 random employee or the worker is collected as before training and after training. So workers are same, respondents are same, but the data been collected on in at two different time phases, the before the training and after the training. So these numbers, they represents their deals handled by those respective workers. It means their efficiency or their output. So this is the output before the training and this is the output after the training. So this is the way that the data been collected. Now how to construct hypothesis statement for such type of example? To construct the null hypothesis, here we have made one statement like there is no significant difference in the efficiency of the employees before and after the training. So again, symbolically we can represent it like this, or in other words, the average output of the employee is same before and after going through training program. So this is the way that we can construct the null hypothesis. What is alternate hypothesis? It is exactly opposite to the null hypothesis. There is significant difference in the efficiency of the employees before and after the training, or in other words, the average output of the employee is not same before and after going through training program, and symbolically it is been represented here. So this is the way that we construct the null and alternate hypothesis here for the dependent paired sample t-test. Now let me take you all to the process of hypothesis testing using SPSS. So to going before the SPSS, let me first type my data in the MS Excel and then let me import my data. And for that, here is my data, and it is arranged in a such a way that the workers are here, then the before data is here and the after data is here. So if you also want to practice on the such type of the data, then you should also arrange your data in the same pattern. Fine. Now I'll go to my SPSS and I'll import my data, and for that I'll go to file, I'll go to open, then I'll go to data. As I click on the data, I'll go to a new window. Here I'll select the appropriate file from where I just want my data to get imported. I'll click on open and I'll click on OK. Once my data is here in the SPSS, the first step that I should take is that I should go to the variable view, and in the variable view I should verify, I should check all the things, whether all the measures, types and alignments are fine, whether the labels been given or not. Then I'll arrange this all these things, I'll rearrange all these things, and then I'll go back to the data view. Now my data is ready for the statistical treatment. Now how to perform the test, dependent sample t-test, how to perform this? For that we need to go to analyze. I'll click on analyze, I'll go to compare means, then I'll go to the paired sample t-test. Here I'll click on the paired sample t-test, a new pop-up window comes. Now in this window you will find that on the left side there are the variables, and on the right side paired variables. Now which two pairs that you want to compare? Here I just want to compare the before efficiency and after efficiency. So what I'll do, I'll select those appropriate variables, like efficiency before, I'll select this and I'll put it here. Then I'll go and I'll get this variable and I'll just put it here. Now both the variables are here. Then I'll click on the options. Again, by default it tells me that the confidence interval here is 95%. I'll click on continue and then I'll click on OK. As I press on OK, my results are here in my hand. So in this result, you'll find that here is kind of a descriptive statistics, here is a kind of a correlation value, and here is the test result, hypothesis testing result, it is here. Now if I go ahead, again there are two approaches, p-value approach and critical value approach. Now where to find the p-value? To find the p-value in this table, I'll find it here, significance level 0.005. Now this is my p-value and level of significance is 0.05. If p-value is less than 0.05, what is the thumb rule? Thumb rule is here. If the p-value is less than 0.05, what we do? We reject the null hypothesis. We reject the null hypothesis. It means we accept the alternate hypothesis, and alternate hypothesis is that the efficiency before and efficiency after the training is not same. There is a significant difference in the efficiency of the workers before and after. So this is the way that we interpret here using the p-value. Now the second method is critical value. Now here in the critical value, again here is the t statistic is computed, t stat is here, fine. Here is the degrees of freedom. Now when we are having the t stat, the second thing that we should have is critical value. Then we compare both the things, fine. Now for the degrees of freedom 11, our critical value, how to find the critical value? I'll go to this column 0.025 and then I'll just go to this intersection thing, that is 2.201. And what does it tells me? That in this normal curve, here is my plus 2.201 and here is my minus 2.201, and this critical value actually divides the distribution into two parts. The one part is the rejection part and the other part is the non-rejection part, fine. And this rejection part is 0.025, this is 0.025, altogether it is 0.05. Now we try to find out that where actually my this minus 3.445 it lies, and for that let me take you to the further slide, where in the graphs we'll find that here is the critical value that we have computed here from the table, and minus 3.445, this t statistic, it lies here in the rejection region, and that is why we reject the null hypothesis. We reject the null hypothesis. What is the thumb rules here? Thumb rules are here. If the t statistics it is less than minus CV, it is less, this is greater number. If it is less than this, then we reject the null hypothesis. So this is also the one approach. Either you can go with this p-value approach. P-value approach is more easier. In simple terms, we simply just compare this with this and simply we can say that fine, we can reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternate hypothesis, fine. So here is the interpretation. The null hypothesis, stated null hypothesis is there is no significant difference in the efficiency of employees before and after the training, and it is symbolically been presented here like this. Now using p-value 0.005 is less than 0.05, we can reject null hypothesis and accept the alternate. So that what is the alternate hypothesis that we are going to accept? That there is a significant difference in the efficiency of the employees before and after. Fine. So this has been accepted. This has been accepted. Now let me take you all to the MS Excel. How can we perform dependent paired sample t-test using MS Excel? For that, we'll go to the MS Excel sheet worksheet. Now simply I'll go to the data, I'll click on data, then I'll go to data analysis, and in the data analysis I'll find that there is paired to sample for means. So simply click on this thing and click on OK. As I click on OK, a new pop-up window comes. Here I'll have to select my first variable range. If I click on this, then I'll select this range, then I'll go to this thing and I'll select this range. So once I select both the variables, then I'll go further. Here when I've selected the range, I clicked here for the label, because when I selected the range, I have selected the first cell also. So if you select the variable names too, then you will have to click here on the label. If you are selecting the only numbers, the responses, then there is no need to click here on the label. Then I'll click on the output range, so that I'll able to just give my result in that particular output range. So here is my result. Now how to interpret this? To interpret this, where is the p-value? P-value is here, 2 tail, and that value is 0.005. This is less than 0.05. So here is my p-value and here is the level of significance. If the p-value is less than this, then what is the condition? If p-value is less than this, then we reject the null and accept the alternate hypothesis. Simple. Now what is the second thing? Second thing is a critical value approach. So what about the critical value? We just need to have two things. T-stat we need to have and critical value. So where is the T-stat here? It is here, minus 3.44. It is here, and here it is the table value, that is critical value. Critical to tail is minus 2.20. Now to understand it in a better way, again this is the case. Here is the critical value minus 2.20, fine, and here is somewhere 3.44. So what it means? It means your minus critical value is greater than the t statistics. It is greater than this, and that is why we reject the null hypothesis, fine, and accept the alternate hypothesis. Now if I compare both the results, MS Excel result and SPSS result, then what I'll find here, again see the mean 54 and 59 before and after, same, it is same here, correct? What about the correlation? Here the Pearson correlation, here the values are same. Now what is correlation? All this part will discuss in those respective lectures in future, in near future, fine. Now here again the significance level, here the p-value, how much is the p-value? 0.005. so here the p-value for two tail, it is here 0.005. what about the t statistics? Minus 3.445. so t statistic minus 3.445. so you go to MS Excel or you go to SPSS, results are same, only the way they appear, the design differs, but the results are same and they will lead you to the same conclusion, fine. So this is the way that we perform dependent sample pair t-test. What is the final result? Final result is that the p-value is less than the level of significance, so we reject the null and accept the alternate. And what we are accepting is that there is a significant difference in the efficiency of the employees before and after the training. So that is the thing that we are going to accept. So this is the way that we perform dependent sample paired t-test. I hope you all enjoyed this lecture. If you are having the data like this, before and after kind of data if you are having, then one can go with the this dependent sample paired t-test. I hope you all enjoyed this lecture. See you soon in the next lecture. Thank you.